Hey, I'm Tim from Build with Tim, and this is my wife, Taryn.
Hi.
And she's also building a house. So Build with Tim and Taryn, but technically Build with Tim for now.
Well, you do all the videos.
Yeah, and I'm on the building side a lot more. But anyway, we are both making decisions, which is great. The purpose for this video, and this is going to be a bit of a longer format video, is because I'm getting a lot of questions. The videos have sort of, especially on Instagram and TikTok, have exploded. People want to know how to get home finance, how we financed our build, how we're in this position to build such a nice house. And the journey might surprise you. Actually, we're not as rich as people would think. We are incredibly blessed and fortunate to be in this position. Let's explain to everyone how we're in this position, and then we'll explain how we got the finance for our home. Sound good?
So do you want us to go back to our online business? Is that where we're starting?
Yes, let's go back to our online business, how we made our money, coming back to South Africa, but we'll try and condense the story.
Okay, so basically we lived in the UK for 13 years. Before we had children, Tim was working at Microsoft as a project manager. I was an occupational therapist working for the National Health Service, and life was pretty comfortable in London.
So we decided to buy a house in the south of the UK, in Bournemouth, near Bournemouth, a little town called Wimborne Minster, very cute town, idyllic on paper, very nice, 4 bedrooms. And that was because of the start we had in London. We were able to save just enough for deposits, and even that was a bit of a process back then.
It was, and a stretch.
Yeah, and a stretch for us. Anyway, I don't think we're going to get into every detail about our business, what happened, but I'll give you the high level. So obviously, we're not earning in London. We've bought a house down south, trying to look for jobs locally in a little village.
And have a young baby.
Yeah, and have a young baby. So basically, we're either going to commute to London or whatever. So we decided to start an online business. And that sounds great, but starting an online business, what are you going to do? And this is not a pitch for online business. We're just telling you what happened, right? So Taryn's got polycystic ovarian syndrome, which affects 1 in 10 women. So we set up the website and things were very slow. They got quite bad. In fact, money ran out. Living on credit cards, it was getting a bit stressful. Anyway, long story short, we started to get traffic because Google started liking what we were putting out. People started following us, and that grew into a business. To our surprise, it grew into a business that was so successful that we were earning more working 3 hours a day than we were working in London.
Those were the good days.
Those were the good days. Those were the good days. Yeah, those days are gone. Okay. But let's bring it back to South Africa, bring it back home. So we decided, no ways. We've had enough of the UK. We didn't integrate into our village nicely. It was just an uphill struggle relationally. We want our kids to grow up South African. We decided to move back. So we rented the house in the UK, which was great. And the rental income sort of covered the bond while we were here. We were in Cape Town for 2 years. Now we're in George. But let's bring it back to why we decided to build.
So we decided to move back to South Africa, and just a couple of months before the move, Google does this huge algorithm update, but it meant that we lost a huge amount of traffic. And in the midst of this huge international move with 2 children and the dog, the business crashes. And then, of course, COVID hits, which causes the business to crash even further.
It crashed very hard.
Yeah, it exploded. So in the middle of that, our income is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and we decide that we need to now sell our UK house.
Yes, so at this stage, we're ready now just moved to George. We're renting a house in Velkeleken where we're building, which is interesting. And things are getting dire. It's not enough for food. It's that's how tight it's getting. So we think, well, it's time to sell the UK property. Now, we didn't ever realize that we would make money from it, but I guess that's what happens with property. It's a good thing, right? It's the first house we've owned. We sold that UK property and we made 4 million rand. Okay, now I don't want you guys to think, wow, geez, we're rich. Hey, tata, everybody gets some. No, we actually had to pay back quite a bit of debt. We owed our business some money at that stage. And then with the remaining amounts of money that was left, we thought, well, we need to be wise with this money. What are we going to do? And we wanted to buy land so we could build a property, right? So we found a piece of land. Long story around that, how that happened. Lots of twists and turns. But anyway, we've got the piece of land we're building on right now. And we bought that for 1.25 million rand cash. Now, I just want to say that we are in a very fortunate position to do that, right? We didn't have to ask for finance to buy the land. We bought it cash.
So we knew at some point we weren't going to ever be able to build the house cash. We needed to apply for a building loan at some point in time. But in order to apply for a building loan, there are actually some things that you need to do beforehand. One of them is that you have to have municipal approved plans. So to have your municipal approved plans means you have to consult with an architect. So we had to get an architect on board and actually physically design every inch of the house and submit that to the municipality to get the building loan.
Yes.
The other thing that you need to do to get a building loan is that you actually need to already have a contract with a builder. So you're already quite committed by this point before you even get to applying to the building loan.
Yeah, exactly. So there was almost exactly a year gap from September 21 till, let's just say, October 22 when we started building the house. There was a whole year that went by. And in that process, we had designed the house. We dreamt about it, but there was no starting line. We had to get a building loan in order to build. So we had done what we can. We spent quite a lot of money, probably about 50,000 Rand, 60,000 Rand to get to this point before we applied for the loan. Now, this is where this video comes into effect, because we costed out our build at about 10,500 Rand per square meter for our build. So we did the maths. We knew what we needed. We had about 800,000 Rand of our own money to put in with the land. So that's just over 2 million that we've put in. Okay, the total build was going to be about 4.9 million. There's a deficit of about 2.9 million that we needed from the bank. So we had to apply for finance, right? We've never done this. So what do? You start asking around. You're like, other people are like, oh, no, I've used this bond originator, get hold of them. So we did. We engaged with the bond originator. I will not mention names or company. And the meeting was okay, but we were like, I think it was a bit like chaotic. The information was all over the place. We didn't know what was going on. And then we started getting documents to fill in, and we noticed that your name was spelled wrong about 3 times. Our surname was wrong on different documents, and we thought, well,
and we just didn't hear back.
Yeah.
We queried things, we were asking questions, and 3-4 weeks later, we still haven't had a reply.
Yes.
And we just thought, if this is before we've even applied to the banks, we haven't even engaged with anybody. Exactly. If this is the level of service that we're getting at the outset, then do we really want to pursue this with this particular bond originator?
Absolutely. So let's just explain what a bond originator does, right? It's their job to take your financial situation, to present it to the banks and find the best offer for your home loan or your building loan, okay? First bond originator didn't work out, so a bit of time went on and we thought, well, actually we do want to build now, let's start pursuing this again. And we were recommended to use Bond Excel, and we were put in touch with Tia, and Tia works with Patrick, they work together, and we ended up chatting to both of them, and they helped us through our initial submission to the banks. But the bank said no. They all said no, basically. Patrick and Tia went out of their way to try and make a deal, and the reason why they said no, it wasn't anyone's fault, it was our fault. It's the way we moved the money. It was very complicated. We had 2 businesses in the UK. We had to give 3 years financial history of our businesses, and we were declaring dividends, not salaries. A very important step here. Banks want to know salaries. They want to see salary slips. They love salary slips. They don't like other income.
So and that's really important. If you are an entrepreneur or a sole trader or you have a business, especially because our businesses were UK based, that made even more complexity. But you have to bear it in mind, especially if you are self-employed in any way, that you have to have salary slips. It's really important for the banks.
Absolutely. The beautiful thing here is that at Bond Excel, like Patrick and Tia didn't give up there. They said, guys, look, restructure your finance in a way that the banks will understand your income better. And I don't want to get into, there were so many complicated things, the way we were bringing money into South Africa at that stage, all legally above board, but just the banks here didn't understand it. So basically, instead of declaring dividends, we just restructured our salaries for 3 months. We worked hard on our business and we got paid, I guess, enough of a salary that the banks accepted our home loan. But not all of them did, right? I think we got rejected again. The second time around we applied, most of the banks said no. And then one bank said yes. I don't want to mention names. But we were very grateful, and we always said, if a bank says yes to us, we're going to take this crazy journey of faith and we're going to build our house.
And I think that's the thing. Tom and I had, and I remember sitting on the couch right over there talking about, if the bank says yes, are we going to go ahead? Because financially, we're still not in the best position. Our business continues to struggle. We have tried a number of things. We've tried about 6 different things in the last 2 years. Some have worked, some have really not worked.
Yes, exactly.
But we decided that we wanted to live an extraordinary life. We wanted to take risks. We wanted to take a step of faith. We could have been comfortable. We could have lived off the money from England for another year or 2.
Exactly.
But we chose the step of faith. We chose to put ourselves in a very uncomfortable position, and not at the risk of our children or anything like that. But it really was it was through a lot of prayer and a lot of heart searching that we decided to do this.
Exactly. And the reason we want to build a house, we're building this incredible house in this beautiful location, and we pinch ourselves. We go to site. We are so thankful that we're in this position to be able to do this. So we're on a step of faith. But here's the funny thing. Build with Tim, as an example, 3 a.m. I'm like, how are we going to finish our house properly? And I know this is going to sound weird. I believe this was of the Lord. It was just like 3 a.m. I just had this feeling of you need to document the process. I don't know why. And as a result, now I've seen the results. We've got partners on board. They're interested in what we're doing. We're getting discounts on some of the finishes of the house and stuff like that, which is an incredible blessing for both people, right? Because everyone's benefiting here, which is amazing. So I think proper partnerships do exist, and we're seeing that. But anyway, so coming back to Bond Excel and Patrick and Tia, like I want to encourage you guys. We've got such a special arrangement with them. Patrick, you chat so often through the process, and that took all the pain out of that for us, really. I mean, we just filled in the documents, they went on our behalf. So can't recommend them more. This video, we really want to give them sort of recognition, and I've created a special page for them. Actually, if you click on the link below, you'll get direct access to Patrick and Tia, and they'll know that I've recommended you directly, right? So I would encourage you to click the link below, and they'll sort you out. Really, it doesn't matter where you are in the country. They've got a national setup, which is fantastic.
And even if you're not looking for a building loan and you are wanting to buy a house, they will absolutely help you with your home loan. They have people that they liaise with at the banks directly. It is such a seamless process, and they will tell you right at the outset exactly what you need, how much you are likely to get, what kind of interest rates you're likely to get. They are so incredibly knowledgeable.
In fact, also, I think they quite often can secure you a better interest rate than the banks could if you went direct. I mean, I've seen that a lot. A lot of people who have used their service. We actually got a few friends that have recommended Bond Excel to us. We've also used them, and they got very good rates through them. So I've got no doubt they'll do the same for you, or at least try the best. You might get rejected like we did.
And also, if you do get rejected, don't give up.
Exactly, they're there to help.
It's not the end of the road.
Absolutely, yeah.
There are always ways and means. So keep going.
To round this all off, to explain our situation, we have now spent the money, our 800,000, into the build. Plus, then we have bought the land. And now we are busy using the bank's money to carry on with our build. This is a topic all on its own, one that we need to speak about, because if you are going to build a house, trust me, this is the tips we're going to give you about how to manage the bank and how to manage your cash flow with the bank. They don't tell you any of this. Patrick and Tia did, but it's still very confusing. So we'll get into that. But I want to encourage you guys, click the link below, reach out to Patrick and Tia, see if they can help you. If you've got any comments below, more questions around the build, please answer them, because we can do future videos like this. It's a very long video. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, subscribing, all that stuff. Thank you. Thank you for all that. Thanks for the support. It means a lot.
Thanks for having me on one of your videos.
Yeah, appearance. Special guest appearance. It's a pleasure. You're welcome anytime.
Thanks.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye.